Hey, man, Texas tendernism is in full effect, man. Them people did my boy wrong, man. They did our favorite uncle wrong as hell, bruh. But we not worried about none of that, man, because we already bought the building. We got it down here. We got the barbecue truck down here. So it's connected. However he want to do it. If he want to travel or he want to work straight out his restaurant, he can do it. You know, we've been on the phone. It's really happening, man. Them people did my man's wrong, bro. They exploited him. They exploited our uncle, man. They exploited him, man. They used him, man. The racist white people use to the fullest of what they can get out of him. And the second he stepped away, because he was doing it out the heart, out the loyalty, they trademarked the word tendernism, fired him, and told him if he can't use it no more, we gonna sue him. So we breaking all that. That's dead. We done already trademarked another way to say tenderism. He good. We give him his own restaurant. He ain't got to pay for nothing. We coming out of pocket for everything. All we ask y'all to do is, man, bless Unc Gang, man. Go send a couple dollars to Unc, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Let's get Unc going.
So that right there was Cartel Bo. He was talking about Mr. Tendernism. Now, we all remember Mr. Tendernism, man. You know, he was part of Destination Smokehouse. He blew up on TikTok and Instagram with the meat falling off the bone. You know, he talking that slick jive Southern talk, and he getting, with the glasses throwing them down. You know, he doing all that stuff, with that slick talk, right? But we know that he ended up having a falling out with Nick from Destination Smokehouse, right? And he said that he was ultimately fired from Destination Smokehouse. Now, Nick is saying that he wasn't fired. Nick is saying, no, that's far from the truth. That's not what happened, right? But we know that he came out, he said he was fired. He had a GoFundMe where he collected over 100K, right? But this is the thing. If he wasn't fired, if he wasn't actually fired, he collected over 100K, then that's collecting money under false pretenses. I'm inclined to believe that what the old man is saying, right? And like he start traveling, he start cooking for the stars, right? And he, like about 3-4 months ago, he was bigger than sight. He was all over the place, right? He's it's kind of slowed down just a little bit, but right now Nick from Destination Smokehouse, he's speaking out, and he's now trying to tell his side of the story.
What happened, or what is your relationship with Walter? Because that kind of separation seemed to be the epitome of a good thing that then separated. But what actually happened? Because it was a little inconsistent. Did he leave? Did he stay? Or maybe you could share your side of it, of what happened with Walter Johnson.
It is disappointing. I did not want this to happen. Walter and I have been realizing for like 6 months before he left that this was bigger than we ever expected. And we've already been through bigger than we ever expected multiple times, but this was different. And we talked all the time about how the internet was trying to do their divide and conquer on us. And he would be the first one to tell me, like, Nick, don't worry about it. We're good. Don't let them do this. What I feel happened was the noise got really loud to where people who originally loved Walter started saying a lot of negative things about him that he did not like. And we were sticking through it, and we were fighting through it together.
Now on the OGs, on Walter Johnson's GoFundMe, he had, when food critic Keith Lee visited National Attention Surge, and many were surprised to learn Walter was the face of the restaurant, not the owner, igniting conversations about viral fame and ownership. Soon after the spotlight intensified, Walter was ultimately fired from the restaurant he helped make famous. But Walter's story doesn't end there. He's launching his own food truck where he'll showcase his signature barbecue and soul food creations, giving fans the authentic flavors and larger-than-life energy they fell in love with, right? And he also talked about traveling from city to city. So the thing was this. When people found out that he wasn't the owner, they started to criticize certain things, and they was upset. Walter first ran out there and ran interference and was basically getting at us and was defending Nick. But once people started doing digging and finding out that he was trademarking stuff, all these different things, I guess behind the scenes, he started to question Nick, and him and Nick had a falling out. But we find out that wasn't the first time they had a falling out, because Walter left before and came back. So the ship was already leaking oil. It was already on thin ice, right? So when Walter first offended him, But things went awry. He left. And that's when, he started to blow up. And everybody, we started seeing the lines was empty at Destination Smokehouse.
And about 2-3 weeks before he left, he called me one day asking a question about one of the videos that someone had edited and made me look like I said something about him. And I was like, Walt, you were sitting right next to me. I was talking about myself. They're trying to make it seem like when I said that this guy started with 0 and I'm doing this, they think that I'm talking about you. I've said this in other interviews that I started with 0. This isn't the first time I said it. He's like, all right, man, whatever. I'll see you later. So next time I saw him, everything was kind of okay. But the long and short of it, my feelings is the outside noise got really loud. He didn't like it, and we tried to fix it on our own. And outside of that, I can't speak to it anymore. That's really a Walter question. But the opportunity that came to him was something that he discussed with me multiple occasions. And I told him that I thought it was good for him, but I didn't think it was good for Destination. I actually even felt like, again, we were close like that and we built a lot together. So I feel like I had, the right to say this to him. I actually thought that it might not be as good to do this, his new opportunity, because of what we had at Destination. And we hadn't even scratched the surface yet. We had so many things on the horizon that were really special. And as soon as he left, those things almost disappeared immediately. And I'm really happy for him. I see him doing a lot of cool things and a lot of people showing him love and respect. And I wanted that for him and us, but for him especially. Even when he told me that he wanted to leave, and I said, I don't think it can work if you leave doing what you're currently doing for Destination. But I think this is a blessing for you that after the 5-6 years that we've known each other, that you can take the word tendernism and go out on the road and build something for yourself, 100% for you. And I thought that was a great thing. All the time, everybody's talking about percentages and ownership. And Walter not only was offered a percentage of this business, he was paid like an owner while he was here. Unfortunately, and this is a question you have to ask him, I've had papers drawn up for him to review and to decide whether he wanted to sign. It was everything we had ever discussed in our verbal agreement, and he never would follow through with signing anything. And I just felt like whatever it is about the way he is old school, he didn't trust paperwork. He didn't want to be on paper, locked in anything. I don't know. Again, that's a question you have to ask him. But as far as I was concerned, what we had was really special. And when he told me he wanted to do what he wanted to do, I wished him well. And I said, listen, you leaving doesn't mean we can't still, get along. Doesn't mean that you have to leave and people have to be mad that you're not with Destination. He's like, man, come on. That's crazy. He's like, man, I'm Destination for life. And I was like, well, we're really close and my kids, and I just don't want them to have to deal with anything real. Before I even got this sentence out, he's like, man, stop. He's like, we're family. So the last thing I said to him, that was a conversation we had before he made his announcement, was Nick, he's like, I'm going to go public. Hopefully I get on an interview with national attention. And when I do, I'm going to clear everything up. So I took him at that. And when he made his announcement the way he did, I was really in shock, because my feelings and everybody else's feelings was that he was fired, that he was treated poorly, and that he had to do what he was doing. And it was exactly the opposite.
See, I don't believe nothing he said. He's saying that the old man didn't want to do things on paper. He was paid like an owner and all. Man, listen, miss me with all that crap, because that's not what Walter said. Walter said he wasn't appreciated. Walter said we already had a falling out prior to. Walter was the one that said he was fired. Walter the one that said he wasn't getting fair compensation, right? At first, Walter tried to defend you. But then, like you said, he called you up and said, well, damn, what was that about? We all saw Walter's face in that interview when he found out he didn't get that money. That was that four stacks that was supposed to be for him. He didn't get that money. Man, Walter was very upset, right? That had nothing to do with us. That was issues that you guys had amongst your own ranks, right? Walter was the one that said, man, I had to get up out of there so I can fly. When Walter wanted to go out and do his own thing, you told him, but that's not the best decision we should make right now for the company. You told Walter that, right? You admitted that, right? And then you claim that you made a trademark in the name of Walter, because Walter old school, he don't like to do stuff on paper. Well, that ain't what Walter showed us when Walter went and sat down with that man to get the who actually had the patent on it or the paperwork on it. That ain't what he was saying. right? So I just don't believe Nick. I just think Nick thought that he could take advantage of the situation until this thing went viral. Once it went viral and went national and it got bigger than what they imagined, Nick got caught up in his own foolishness, man, and it was a thing that he couldn't fix. He couldn't fix it.
The ownership part that you just spoke of, is that similar to what happened with the trademark?
So the trademark, that's totally different. Okay. So trademark, I wanted nothing to do with back in 2024. Walter Walter was shopping, he told me, and some guy in a grocery store came up to him and mentioned Tendernism, said, hey, you should trademark that. Another person said something similar to him a few days later, and he came to me with it. I was like, listen, Walt, I don't know anything about this. Back 2024, like I said, we weren't making a lot of money still. Revenue was coming in, but I was focusing on not selling out every day. We were cooking off site. We had one smoker to cook for all these people that wanted to come in and eat. So I wasn't really thinking about it. And if anything, Black Diamond at the time had more resonance than Tendernism. So to me, I was like, listen, Walt, I'm not really interested, man. If you want to try and do it, go ahead. So he tried to do it on his own. And about 3 months later, he got an email and a text message basically saying that it didn't go through. And I don't know when he shared that with me. He might have shared it when it happened, but only time I remember actually seeing it is he showed it to me on his phone and had me take a picture of it was about a few days after someone else had registered for Tendernism first. So I was only registering it for him. He was 100% aware of it. The attorney that I was working with recommended, because of the person who'd already filed, it would be a lot easier to use Destination as the entity to get the trademark because of how we've used it.
So my whole thing is, if he don't want nothing to do with the trademark, he should have just assigned it to the old man after he left, right? He's holding it up, right? Because the old man's having a problem getting the trademark because his attorneys and stuff is holding the stuff up. Just sign everything over, right? And just get out the way. Like, this guy does a lot of double talking, man. He does a lot of double talking because he was doing, even if they was cool and he may have some square business, he was doing a lot of other things behind the scenes and he got exposed for it, right? And it's messing up his money. It's messing up his business because Destination Smokehouse took a big hit, right? They took a big hit, right? So, like, but y'all gotta let me know what y'all think, man. What's your opinion on Nick, man? On Nick and the old man, Mr. Tendernism, right? Mr. Tendernism. Right, and it's been kind of quiet. I haven't really been seeing what Mr. Tendernism has been doing lately, like the last month or so. But Nick did this interview, so we're reporting on it. But y'all let me know what y'all think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.